Office of Drug Controller General of India under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is responsible for this. So DCGI or CDSO with Government of India means practically Government of India gives legislation. International trade is responsibility of Government of India. So CDSO looks into that. Clinical trials, clinical investigations, clinical evaluation of medical devices or drugs is to be regulated by Government of India. New drug approvals, any drug coming for the first time in India will be regulated by Government of India. Now, manufacturing licenses are given by both Government of India or state government depending on the situation. However, when we consider medical devices for class A and B, state is the licensing authority. So state FDAs come in place or Director of Drug Control Administration, whatever way in the whatever name it is known in the particular state, they are the licensing authority for class A and class B medical devices. For class C and class D medical devices, central government, CDSO, DCGI is the regulatory authority. They give licenses. And all retail distribution licenses. So if you want to sell medical devices, the license is given by state only. Investigations, consumer complaints are tackled by state. Now, as I said that it is regulated as drug under Drug and Cosmetic Act. The definition of drug under Drug and Cosmetic Act is under Section 3B, and Section 3B 4 practically deals with the medical devices intended for internal or external use in diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, prevention of disease or disorder in human beings or animals, as may be notified by central government after consultation with DTA. Now, there is one difference here in international regulation and in Indian regulation. In international regulation, veterinary medical devices may not be regulated by the same authority. In India, veterinary medical devices are regulated by the same authority in the same regulation. So for this medical, now under Drug and Cosmetic Act, medical devices rules have been issued. Medical devices rules 2017 are effective from 1/1/2018. These are to regulate clinical investigation. Activities, please see what is regulated. Clinical investigation, manufacture, import, sale and distribution of medical devices in the country. And these rules are practically harmonized with the international regulatory practices, and they provide comprehensive legislation to regulate medical devices, and this will foster Make in India also. Now, salient features of MDR classification is risk-based. The medical devices are classified into 4 categories depending on their risk, and therefore regulation stringency travels that way from A to D. Right. So there is provision for notified bodies, as Europe has got notified bodies provision, but India now has got notified bodies provision. A notified body approved by NABCB and CDSCO will have mandate to audit quality management system, which is in accordance, which is in line with ISO 13485, right? But for class B medical devices, class A and class B, mandate has been given to notified body. However, for class C and class D, mandate is with the central government, CDSCO. Provisions related to essential principles of safety and performance have been given. Separate provisions for regulation of clinical investigation of investigational medical devices, that is, new medical devices, has been introduced. Provisions are also made to establish central government laboratory for testing of the medical devices. Now, as per definitions, these medical devices rules shall also be applicable to in vitro diagnostics, surgical tracing, surgical bandages, staples, surgical sutures, ligatures, blood and blood component collection bags, anticoagulant covered under class 3(1) of the Drug and Cosmetic Act. Substances which are mechanical contraceptives like condoms, intrauterine devices, disinfectants and insecticides used notified under Section 3(b)(2) of the Drug Act also covered under this, and devices notified from time to time under Section 3(b)(4) of the Drug and Cosmetic Act. Now, what is notified under 3(b)(4) is important. 1st April 2022, Government of India notified all the medical devices, all devices, including instruments. Definition is very important. Please look into this. So 2020, Government of India notified all the devices, including instrument, apparatus, appliance, implant, material or other article, whether used alone or in combination, including a software or animals, does, which does not achieve its primary intended use by its manufacturer to be used especially for human beings or animals, which does not achieve its primary intended action in human body or animals by pharmacological or immunological means, but which may assist in intended function by such for one or more of the specific purposes. Now, see, if a substance is achieving its aim and object by pharmacological or immunological mean, it is a drug. If it is by other way, if it is supporting uh, diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, and uh, elevation of disease or disorder, then it is a medical device. So, drug is very clearly taken out, pharmacological and immunological means, and anything other than drug. If it is helping in diagnosis, prevention, monitoring, treatment, or elevation of disease or disorder, diagnosing, monitoring, elevation of assistance for any injury or disability, investigation, replacement, or modification of support of anatomy of physical process, supporting or sustaining life, disinfection of medical devices, and control of conception, then the product is notified as a medical device. So anything other than drug, which is used for diagnosis, prevention, monitoring, treatment of disease or disorder, is a medical device. So it ranges from wheelchair, stretcher, to from cotton bandage to CT scan machine. Everything is covered under medical device. If it is not a drug. Now, as I said, that the classification is on the risk basis. Particular rule 2, sub-rule 4 in chapter 2 divides gives the classification criteria. Low risk class is class A, low and moderate risk class B, moderate and high risk class C, and high risk class is D. Now, who are the regulatory authorities for what type of things? Devices and its activity for class A, B, and C, D. Import. As I said, import is regulated by Government of India for all class A, B, C, and D. Import licenses will be regulated by Central Licensing Authority, that is Drugs Controller General of India. Manufacturer license for class A will be State Licensing Authority, state FDAs. Maybe licensing authority has been given to the Joint Commissioner or the Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner, but then State Licensing Authority in the state FDA will be for class A and class B. For class C and class D, Central Licensing Authority, CDSC or DCGI is the licensing. If you want to do clinical trial, clinical investigation, then permission from Central Licensing Authority is required. Central Licensing Authority, DCGI is the authority for that. For quality management, sale state licensing authority are the licensing authorities for the sale license of medical devices and drugs both. Quality management system is to be verified by notified body in case of class A and class B, while in class C and class D it is to be verified by Central Licensing Authority. Notified bodies are to be registered with the Central Licensing Authority, which are approved from by NABCB. An inspection for class A medical device will not be required before grant of the license. For class B, it will be done before the license. So, Government of India has notified. Now, Here is also a difference. Classification, notification, class A, B, C, and D. Otherwise, in the European countries or US, manufacturer has to decide the class depending after going through the rules. However, in India, it has been said that central government should notify the categories. So central government has notified various categories of medical devices and given classification as per ABCD for various medical devices. So the respiratory, ENT, radiotherapy, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, cardiovascular, dental, plastic surgery, gastroenterology, radiology, renal care, neurology, orthopedic, gynecological equipment, and pediatrics, neonatology, this type of all and softwares, medical device pertaining to software, physical support, everything has been notified by Government of India. And whatever is not notified, you'll have to apply to Government of India to give classification of that. If you feel that your device is not appearing that list in that list, then you can apply on the portal that please classify, give the this classification for this device. Government of India will and communicate to you that what is class of your device. Now, what standards are applicable to medical devices in India? Very, very important slide. If a device is to be marketed in India and BIS has issued the standards, then it has to comply with the standards notified by the BIS or by the central government. So first standard applicable is BIS. And if BIS standard is there, then no other standard is applicable. BIS standard is only applicable. Right. If BIS standard is not there, standard notified by the central government, or if above is not available. So if BIS standard is not available, then ISO or IEC or ASTM का draft है, anytime it can come. So ISO, IEC, ASTM or pharmacopoeia standard. So if BIS standard is not there, then only ISO, IEC, ASTM or pharmacopoeia standard. And if none standard is available, none of the above standard is available, then manufacturer's own validated standard as notified by him will be applicable. So if the device is in BIS, then you have to follow BIS standards. If it is not there, then ISO, IEC, and if it is not there at all, then manufacturer standard. Now BIS standards, various categories have been notified, and this is very much there on the BIS website. This slide is taken from there. So these are the categories where the BIS has notified standards for various devices under for which will be applicable to all the devices being manufactured in India or sold in India. So if a device is imported, then also it has to comply with BIS standard. These are 20 categories notified by BIS. I'm not reading the names for just. Now, there is one simple provision that if you are want to manufacture a device which is non-sterile and non-measuring and falling into class A. So class A, non-sterile, non-measuring medical device has been exempted from the licensing, but has been brought into the registration class. So you can just go onto the portal, register the medical device and start manufacturing of that and selling of that. So what you have to put details, generic name, model number, intended use, material of construction, dimensions, shelf life, undertaking stating that device is class A as per first schedule, self-certify that product conforms to essential principles and checklist of safety and performance, self-certify that the device complies with rules of MDR 2017, and undertaking stating that the information furnished by the applicant is true and authentic. So class A, non-sterile, non-measuring medical device can be just manufactured after registration on the portal. Now, what are the chapters in medical device rules? Now, we are going in detail into that. Chapter 1 is title, application, commencement and definitions. Classification of medical device, chapter 2, we have already discussed. This is talking of classification, grouping and essential principles. Chapter 3 discusses authorities, delegation of powers, notified bodies, medical device testing centers, etc. Chapter 3A, which is now outdated, registration of certain medical devices. Till everything came in licenses, this chapter was effective. Chapter 3B, as we discussed, registration of Class A non-sterile, non-measuring medical devices. Chapter 4, very important, manufacture of medical devices, application, inspection, grant of license, conditions of the license, suspension, cancellation, appeal, test license, etc., is under Chapter 4. Chapter 5 deals with import of medical devices, application, overseas inspection, grant of license, test license, hospital and personal use, etc. Chapter 6, labeling requirements. So all labeling requirements have been given in Chapter 6. Chapter 7 deals with clinical investigation, how to get permission, what is medical management, if there is some adverse event, what compensation will be given, and inspection of that. So clinical investigation is regulated as per Chapter 7. If you want to import a medical device which does not have a predicate, then Chapter 8. Chapter 9, duties and powers of medical device officers and medical device testing officers and notified bodies. Chapter 10, regulation of laboratories for carrying out test and evaluation. Because you may not have own facilities to test the product, then you can get it done into the laboratory which is approved by NABL and which is approved under medical devices rules. Chapter 11 deals with sale of medical devices, and Chapter 12 deals with miscellaneous, that is rejection of application, department of application, exemption. So rules are divided into 12 chapters, and chapters applicable to you, particularly when you talk of manufacturing, will be classification 1, which is to be done by Government of India, registration of Class A, Chapter 3B, Chapter 4, manufacture of medical device, and if you are to import, Chapter 5. And labeling requirement will be applicable to everyone, Chapter 6. Now, if you are manufacturing a new device which is not used in India earlier and where clinical investigation is required, then Chapter 7. Right. So these are the chapters applicable to you. And Chapter 11, sale of medical devices. Your manufacturing license granted to you includes sale license. However, if you want to deal in the devices which are manufactured by some other dealers, other manufacturers, and you want to sell that, then sale of medical devices, you require a selling license sort of. Now there are some schedules which really gives totally what are the requirements under medical devices rules. So first schedule talks of classification of medical devices and IVDs. Second schedule talks of fees for applicable for every type of application. If you want to import a product, what will be the fees? If you want to manufacture a product, what will be fees? If you want test license of a product, what will be fees? If you want a free sale certificate, what will be fees? So that fees has been given in second schedule. Third schedule talks of registration and functions of notified body. Fourth schedule, documents required for grant of manufacture and import license. So chapter 4 is very important for you. It requires, or it should gives list of all the documents required for manufacturing license. And chapter 5, schedule 5 gives a quality management system. QMS is in harmonization with 13485, in accordance with 13485. I hope 2016 itself. However, very clearly to be specified, QMS is to be certified by the licensing authority after inspection. And for Class B, QMS to be audited by notified body. For Class C and D, QMS to be audited by central government, CDSCO. 13485 separate certification is not mandatory for licensing. However, it is voluntary. You should always have to facilitate your international business sort of thing. Then sixth, the schedule talks of post-approval major and minor changes. If after licensing, if things are approved and we want to change something, then how it is to be notified, when it is to be notified, that has been given in sixth schedule. Seventh schedule deals with requirement to conduct clinical investigation. What will be clinical investigation, where it can be conducted, what are ethics committees, who will be investigators, everything has been given, and what will be the consent of the volunteer, all things, and compensation, etc. in case of adverse events has been given into the seventh schedule. Eighth schedule deals with the exemptions, that what devices are exempted from this thing. So now we talk of chapter 3B, and as I already discussed, Class A non-sterile, non-measuring medical devices can be registered here, right? Yeah, it is to be registered on the online portal. which is identified portal. The manufacturer and importer shall maintain the records. Now you can just register and you'll have to maintain the records relating to manufacture, import, and its sales and distribution. You can manufacturer, importer shall produce records, labels, instructions for use on the request by the licensing authority. The licensing authorities may verify records and documents referred to subrule 2 and at any point of time and investigate quality or safety of related products, failures and complaints. Now, there is no license, there is only registration. Registration is online portal. You are giving undertakings that I will have this, my QMS is in place, I am complying with all the provisions. If you do not have all in place, then licensing authority can audit or check and take action against you. Now, sale of medical devices. I'm just jumping on to sale first, and then we'll go to manufacturing. Sale of medical devices. Now, sale of medical devices is permitted to be done by any drug license holder in Form 2021, 20B, 21B, retail or wholesale license. But if somebody don't want to deal in the drugs at all, and they want to deal only in the medical devices, so some relaxed provision has come here where sale of medical devices only can be done by registration. So registration certificate in Form 42, MD 42 is offered for sale, exhibit, offer for sale or distribute a medical device, including in vitro diagnostic, and now registration certificate is prescribed. So state licensing authority for registration certificate in Form 42, you have to apply in Form 42, and the registration certificate will be issued into in Form, sorry, you will have to apply in Form 41, and registration certificate will be issued in Form 42. So you can be competent technical staff if you hold degree from a recognized university, and if you are a registered pharmacist, or you passed intermediate examination or any equivalent examination, and you have 1 year experience in dealing with the medical devices. So if you hold degree, no experience is required. If you are a registered pharmacist, no experience is required. If you are intermediate, then 1 year experience is required. Registration certificate is to be displayed in the prominent place in the premises. Registration certificate holder should provide adequate space. Now, if you talk of drug license, space has been defined. But here they have said only adequate space, proper storage conditions, and for storage of medical devices. You shall be maintaining required temperature and lighting as per requirement of such medical devices, and medical devices shall be purchased only from importer or licensed manufacturer or registered licensed entity under the said rules. So you cannot purchase medical device from unlicensed dealer, and even you cannot sell medical device to unlicensed dealer. So separate record have to be maintained.
Showing, so we will have to sum up your presentation part in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. I'll run fast. Okay, good. So this is MD 42. Validity of registration. Now some new definition has been given: medical device, substantial equivalence, predicate device, investigational medical device, new in vitro diagnostics, clinical investigation, manufacturer, notified body, etc. Now when we talk of medical devices, you require test license. Now whatever data you generate, you will have to do it under the permission from the licensing authority. So for test license, you can apply on the NSWS portal, create your account, application, and you have to submit application for medical device manufacturer in Form MD12 or medical device importer in MD16. Document submission, upload all necessary documents, including brief description of medical device, test protocol, quality certificate, etc. Fee payment is as per second schedule of medical device, and license will be issued in MD13 or MD17. You have to maintain all the records. These are the manufacturing licenses for Class A. You have to submit application to state licensing authority, and you will get license. If you apply for manufacturing license, you get license in MD5, and if you apply for loan license, you get license in MD6. Now, what is loan license? Loan license is a facility that if you do not have own facility to manufacture, you can get it manufactured in some other license facility by getting loan license. And for class A or class B, audit is to be carried out by notified body within 45 days. For class B, medical device, notified body will carry out audit in 90 days. State licensing authority will grant you the license. For class C and class D, CDSO will carry out the audit and they will grant you the license. So time period here is 45 days and 60 days. Now, these are the conditions after grant of the license. So I'm not going into details. This slide may be useful to you once licenses are granted to you. Now, while you apply for the manufacturing license, you will have to submit Plant Master File. Schedule 4 asset is giving you the requirement of the documents, general information, personnel working with you, what is the premises, facilities, equipment, sanitation, production, quality assurance department, storage, documentation, medical device complaint and corrective actions, internal audit, contract activities. These are in compliance with 13485 sort of thing. Device master file, introduction, information regarding sterilization, risk management plan, risk analysis, risk evaluation, control document, clinical evidence and evaluation if applicable. Design examination certificate, declaration of confirmation and confirm certificates, marketing history, regulatory approval in other countries, safety and performance related information. So these are to be given into device master file. Specification, predicate devices, labeling, design and manufacturing information, device design, manufacturing process, essential principles checklist, risk analysis, verification, validation of medical device, biocompatibility, medicinal substances if are used, then their approval and availability, sterilization, software verification and validation, stability data, clinical evidence, etc., to be given in device master file. QMS is in accordance with 13485 that has been given in the 5th schedule. It includes documentation requirements, quality manual, control of document management, management responsibility, customer focus, quality policy, internal communication, product realization, purchase identification, and traceability, etc., CAPA. Risk management, you should be developing your risk management plan in accordance with 14971, and you can have all these incorporated into your risk management plan. I'm skipping in vitro diagnostic. There are similar provisions. Performance evaluation studies are to be done in IVD. That is very important, and that for that some details have been provided in the law. Post-marketing surveillance for some devices is to be always submitted. The report and content of that has been provided. E-governance. Now, total online system is there. Extended licensing node for state is there. But for medical devices, medical device online portal is there, and you can apply for risk class, import license, clinical investigation, clinical performance evaluation, testing laboratory, etc. Pre-sale certificates and sale license on medical devices online portal for medical devices and online. NSWS portal is the only for test license, and online drug licensing system is there, ONDLS. And once your device is approved, you will have to file IPDMS price list at your IPDMS portal of NPPA. So medical devices rules are way to regulated medical devices in India. Manufacture sale is being regulated, which can create environment for international acceptance of devices made in India. Import of medical devices is being regulated so that internationally regulated devices registered in India will be available to the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anil, sir? Anil, sir, you are muted.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
So, do we have your presentation also?
No, I don't have a presentation.
Okay,
Mr. Sadhwani has
great.
said enough. Maybe I can just supplement 2, 3 issues, points which should be clear.
Sure.
Because these are the normal points of confusion among stakeholders. So, one is that I think, as Mr. Sadhwani said, the primary standards referenced in the medical devices rules are BIS standards. So, everyone who is working in medtech field should have access to BIS standards, and BIS standards are free downloads incidentally. So, you can go to BIS website and download all BIS standards free of cost, except those which are adoption of ISO or IEC standards. Those are priced. So you'll have to buy those standards because that's a ISO IEC policy and they cannot be provided free. But any indigenously developed standard of BIS is free of cost. You can go to the website, register your name, download the standard and use it freely. That is one. Second is that while BIS standards are mandated and compulsory, BIS certification is not. Many people get confused. Do I need BIS certification? No, you do not need BIS certification. You only need to comply with BIS standards, and that compliance can be shown by virtue of getting them tested in a NABL accredited lab as notified by under MDR 2017. And you can satisfy yourself that your medical device meets the BIS standard, and you can show that as supporting evidence. Now, if you wish additional assurance, or if it helps you in marketing your product, then you may go for BIS certification. That's possible, but that's voluntary. Please remember that. MDR does not require you to have BIS certification. But if you think it will help you market your product better, well, you're free to go and spend that money. Incidentally, at least one medical device BIS certification is compulsory because that is made compulsory by AERB, which is X-ray machines. AERB has made it compulsory that X-ray machines should be BIS certified also. So if you are working on X-ray machines, you will have to face that. Second, typical question is about ISO 13485. So let us be clear. MDR has Schedule 5, as Mr. Sadhwani mentioned. Schedule 5 is QMS. Incidentally, that Schedule 5 is based on the older version of ISO 13485. The ISO 13485 got revised later, and today the version available in the market is different. So again, ISO 13485 certification is not mandated, not compulsory under MDR. Compliance to Schedule 5 is compulsory. And that compliance to Schedule 5 in case of Class A and B, as Mr. Sadhwani said, is checked by the notified bodies. In case of Class C and D, it is directly checked by CDSU or state FDS, whichever is applicable. So certification to 13485 is not required. Again, in the market, it has a value. In the overseas market, it certainly has a greater value. So if you wish to show that as a credential and want to show it, you can go for ISO 13485 certification also. There is also a voluntary certification scheme called ICMET by Quality Council of India, in which I was involved in creating that scheme, in which there are two parts. One is ICMET 13485 standard, which actually incorporates both Schedule 5 as well as the new 13485. So if you get certified to that standard, you get automatically certified to Schedule 5 as well as the new 13485. Everything done. There is also a version of ICMET certification called ICMET Plus, 13485 Plus. That is to global standards. Intention was that beyond BIS standards, many of our manufacturers need certification to global standards for accessing global markets. And therefore, we should have a local certification available. It has not become very popular, but it exists. So as a choice, it exists. Again, please remember always, voluntary certification, voluntary standards are your choice. If you think they will help grow your business, please go ahead, assess the market, see whether it adds to your credentials, whether it's BIS certification in medical devices, whether it's ICMET 13485 or ICMET 13485 Plus. You should look at whether it enhances your credibility, if it enhances your market, please go ahead and do that. Regulations are compulsory. If you are in India, MDR 2017 compliance is compulsory. If you want to export, the regulations of respective countries, you'll have to look at them and see that you comply with them, because regulations are compulsory by law. Standards are, that's why the type program is titled Regulations and Standards. Please remember, the regulations are compulsory, standards are voluntary. So with these few clarifications, please go ahead now.
Sure. Thank you,
I,
sir.
I'll add.
Yes, sir.
ICMED Plus, when regulation was even not there, regulation was not full-fledged there, then to promote our manufacturers, our quality, it has been brought in by Anil Jawhari and Rajiv Nath. I say I've always been volunteering that they are the history makers. जब वो मेडिकल डिवाइसेस की हिस्ट्री लिखी जाएगी ना सर, तो आपका राजीव नाथ का नाम, थोड़ा बहुत मेरा नाम उसके साथ हो जाएगा. But then you are the means father of standards for medical devices in India, and I salute you from this platform.
I believe that ICMED expedited MDR also.
Yes. I was part of that. At that time I was on DTAB, and this was the part of discussion that ICMED is there now. Regulation is not there. So let us bring regulation. You came out around 2016 or so. Regulation came into
I've been very blessed in my career to have got involved in several initiatives. So this is one of them. Thank you. Yes, Vatsala, now you can.
बोलना मेरा यही है कि आप बहुत बड़े लीजेंड के साथ बैठे हो, फायदा ले लो.
जी सर. So we'll take up the first question. I think Anil sir hinted a few answers to what he's asked here. So this is from Prateek, Sham Innovation Deep Tech Assistive Technology Startup Building Ecosystem of Hearing Care Solution consisting of Able Glasses and Able Assistant app. Their Able Glasses are India's first non-surgical smart aid glasses for conductive hearing loss. First question is it mandatory to get ISO 13485 certifications for CDSO manufacturing license?
Anil sir has already responded.
Yes, he has answered this. Once we have secured CDSO manufacturing licenses for one device, what regulatory approvals do we have to take to introduce the new device? He sir has given an answer to this also. What changes in the device are allowed after we have applied for CDSO test license, or what changes in the device are allowed after we have secured the CDSO manufacturing license? Sir, would you like to take this up?
Yes, there are three issues. If you have got a license to manufacture a particular device, then you want to add another device, so it is endorsement on the license. But particularly for that, your QMS should have that system, and your medical, you will have to file all the information related to the device. So device master file is to be filed, and if device is of similar kind, then audit may not be necessary. Product endorsement will be given by the licensing authority, so you can add the product. Now, you got a license. Now you want to have some changes in the product profile, which quality changes or some specification changes or some changes you want to bring into the product. Then the minor and major changes have been notified in that. The one slide was there from my side. What you can do, minor changes every year to be notified. However, if it is a major change, then it is to be then notified to the licensing authority in advance, and before implementation, it is to be permitted by the licensing authority to bring in that change. Then only you can change that.
Okay. The next question is, do we have to get CDSO approval for our companion app, that is programming software used for programming of the main device?
Now, if it is a component of the device itself, means if it is integrated with the device, then separate regulation is not required. However, if you want to market a software as a medical device, if it is individually software is a medical device, then software SAMD approval is required. Software is as a medical device approval is required. If the software is integral part of the device, then no separate approval. It is part of the device. Separate approval is not required. So your device master file will say that this device will operate on this software, and software is there. Now there will be chances that device is same. Now you want to give upgraded version of the software, then you will have to notify as a major minor change depending on the situation.
What is the best way to reach out to our Maharashtra regulatory body for getting CDSO Class B certification, as my startup is based out of Amravati, Maharashtra?
क्या बात है. Amravati, as far as Amravati, Maharashtra is concerned, you can directly visit the office. You can talk to Mr. Kaleshwarkar, who is Joint Commissioner, or any Assistant Commissioner available there. But applications are to be done on the national portal only. The applications are diverted to them and they grant it from there. So if you are at Amravati, you are welcome to the office. Zawade compound में office होगा. I was part of that office also sometime. So you can just go there and have dialogue with him. They are cooperative people. Good.
Okay. The next
Uh,
startup is, yes, sir. Anything you were saying? Sorry.
No, not that. So even Amravati, if somebody is there, he can come online. What is his issue? What is marketing?
Pratik, are you here? If you're here, just raise your hand. We'll unmute you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
No problem.
he's there. So, Shalay, can you unmute Pratik? Just a second. Yeah, just a second. We are unmuting Pratik.
Oh, you're on mute, Vatsala.
Ji, sir, we just doing. Okay. Pratik, you can speak now, please.
Please, Raghu.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, Om sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I am Pratik from Sham Innovation. We are
Mhm.
started from Amravati, Maharashtra, sir, and we are building this hearing aid product, a spectacle hearing aid for people with conductive and mixed hearing loss. So, just wanted to explore this few details regarding CDSU.
Okay, so you can directly contact Kaleshwarkar, he is Joint Commissioner there. Very,
Okay, sir.
very approachable person. And mm, application, so in any case, you will have to do onto the national portal, which will be diverted to them. And if you
Yes,
want
sir.
any guidance, you can talk to him. Not a issue.
Sure. Sir, our office
Sir,
name will be in Amravati through
Joint,
which, like you said,
Joint,
Jadhav Complex, Joint Commission.
Joint Commissioner, Food and Drug Administration, Amravati, that is just near bus stand, Javade compound.
Okay, sure, sir.
And
And sir,
So,
one question I had.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
for the CDSU, actually, generally, it requires to have a commercial registration at a commercial location. So right now, we have recently taken a space in our MIDC, Nandgaonpet, near the City Line area. Will that space work?
MIDC में है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया ही.
Okay, sir. Like वो
MIDC is
generally
always commercial.
अपना वो अमरावती का इट्स अ कपड़ा मार्केट सो वी थॉट कि मैन्युफैक्चर मेडिकल
नहीं,
डिवाइसेस का
कपड़ा market issue is different. Is it in
या
it is in MIDC has given land to you, no?
Yes, yes. MIDC has the area. So there are we have taken a lease for a space over there. It's a small 1600 SFT space we have got. And the address is Nandgaon Paid MIDC City Land in the complete address.
That's not a problem. It should not be a problem.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
sir. Thank you
thanks,
for that
कहाँ के रहने
answering
वाले
my
आप? अकोला के
questions.
अमरावती अमरावती के ही है? You're
हाँ,
from
Amravati,
Amravati?
sir. I'm from like actually Dhamuri, Daryapur Road wala, but now
हाँ,
shifted to Amravati.
okay, good. चलो मैं भी उधर का अकोला का ही हूँ.
Acha. Good to connect, sir.
Thanks, Pratik. So, sir, the
Thank you,
next
ma'am. Thank you for
question
the
is
opportunity.
from another startup. They are asking what combination of what combination of safety data application performance, regulatory readiness, and positioning is sufficient for a new polymer ingredient to move from lab validation to first commercial adoption, and where do most startups get stuck in this transition?
बेसिक ऐसा है कि पॉलीमर, which polymer and for what purpose? Now, polymer itself is not a medical device. So, there is no approval required for the polymer. But now, if the polymer is part of some medical device, then some standard will be applicable, right? So, what is your exact question? So, it's about generic question. You should be talking about specifically what you want to know.
Okay, so this is to us. Ruby, are you here? Okay. Okay, sir. So we will just take up
You can
this
connect
question.
him or get the mail that if he is talking of a polymer, new polymer, so there can be n number of polymers. तो medical device में use होगा नहीं होगा, कौन से device में use करना है, वहां पर security safety का part है. Now if a polymer is to be part of a catheter, part of a suture, then probably is it valid or not, it's approved or not, biocompatible or not, then question comes. Where it is to be used, that polymer. If it is used in the body of making medical device, nothing is required, sir. So you cannot really answer this question very easily.
Yeah, but first thing is, I mean, if I was there, any product or any component or any raw material that I am using, I have to look for standard. I will look at BIS and just search out is there a standard, which assures you that okay, if it's following a standard, it's more likely to be acceptable than anything else.
Thank you, Anil sir. Next question is from a company, HealthCon. They are making non-invasive glucometer. So they have asked how much does regulatory compliance differ when positioning the device as a medical grade device or as a wellness device versus a wellness device?
See, wellness devices are not regulated. However, medical devices are regulated. Now, wellness device category in India, we have not we have not registered in medical device, because medical device definition clearly says for diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, prevention of disease or disorder. Now, your device is for that only, but then you are positioning it as a wellness awareness. The treatment diagnosis is not decided on that, right? So when personalized device, it will not be regulated. But when you talk of medical device, then it is regulated. Now, when you are saying that non-invasive, then you will have to provide data that its accuracy is important, right? Because your some treatment is decided on that basis, so validation has to be done. That is doing. Now, if that particular device doesn't have predicate or doesn't work on a particular system which are certified, then you will have to create data by clinical investigation and other things, right? The clinical investigation part will come into picture if you are first in line. I will always advise you that please do not claim it as first if you are not first. You may not be first, वो US में approved होगा, 510 के filed होगा, Europe में होगा, क्योंकि as soon as you say I am first, you will have to provide huge data of safety and efficacy. And device is already there. Unnecessary why you are spending on that. So this gimmick you can use for marketing that I am first and this and that. But practically your idea of developing a device, if the predicate is already there and there is a minor change in that predicate, don't claim to be first. Right. Claiming for first in as in marketing is okay. But claiming first in the approval, then you will have to provide huge data of clinical validation, verification, clinical trial, and something like that, right? So please understand your device better and please find out कि ये मेरा आइडिया है कि दुनिया में और किसको भी आइडिया है तो ऑलरेडी सर्टिफाइड, तो आपको उतना कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Your investment can be around maybe 1/4 or 1/5 of whatever you require with coming for the first aid.
So sometimes our startups, when they say we are first in this idea, they might be adding a novel feature to certain existing.
Right. So interpretation can be novel. Same instrument, you can draw a result which can be novel. But instrument is certified, technology is certified, technology is already registered, technology is working. Inference, drawing or understanding, there only I have to work. Is that how it works or how it can be interpreted that way. So, and secondly, please understand that if the things have already been done in Europe, US or Japan or Australia, we will not have to repeat clinical trials here. Otherwise, we'll have to conduct clinical investigation here, which will be very costly affair. But if there is nothing, and if you are really absolutely new with new technology, then we'll have to invest that little.
Okay. So in this regard only, the startup asked that how many animal trials does CDSU consider sufficient before moving to human trials? Is there any
That's,
preference for a particular animal during animal trials?
depends what device is there. Particularly in stents and everything, swine is preferred or something like that. But then you don't have to really first imagine on that. You will have to go to CDSU, get your protocol approved. During protocol approval, whatever you suggest, that is to be checked that it is sufficient or not. If it is insufficient, they suggest that you have to increase it to that. And when it's animal data, practically they have said that probably now they will not be requiring any permission if you are doing it at a certified institute like Chitra or other places. So they can be your good advisor to start with what type of device you are doing and how it is to be done.
Like FDA route for novel tech is different. How does CDSU treat novel technologies for approval?
Novel technologies are welcome. But again, as I said, that when you talk of novel technology, you will have to provide proof it is how it is performed. And now that performance technology for manufacturing is there or technology for interpretation is there. So that will depend कि clinical trial will be required or not. Only our manufacturing में हम technology use कर रहे हैं. So depends on that your device will be evaluated. तो सेफ्टी एंड परफॉर्मेंस के प्रिंसिपल नोटिफाई किए हैं, आपके सीडीएससी वेबसाइट पे मिल जाएंगे और कोई भी मेडिकल डिवाइसेस के बुक में है, वो मेडिकल डिवाइस रूल्स के बुक में यू रीड दैट, प्रोबेबली थिंग्स विल बी वेरी क्लियर टू यू डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर डिवाइस, बिकॉज यू हैव टू रीड योर all the notifications, all the regulations in background of your device what you want to do.
Okay. So they are saying that what are the obvious hurdles one can face that they should be better prepared for while securing a test license?
टेस्ट लाइसेंस के लिए बहुत ज्यादा कुछ नहीं लगता है भाई. मैंने टेस्ट लाइसेंस के स्लाइड में दिखाया था, यू टू गो रजिस्टर ऑन द पोर्टल, how much you want to manufacture, what you want to manufacture, what is the intended use, how much quantity you want to manufacture, what you will do of that quantity. And only why they ask this, because they don't want to sell that product in the market. So whatever quantity you will be manufacturing should be used for only test and analysis. That is not for sale. So they want to get sure. So test license के लिए बहुत ज्यादा कोई hurdle है नहीं.
Okay. Diksha, please raise your hand. We'll promote you to talk. Okay. So the next question, sir, by the same startup, he has posted like 3-4 questions. So I'll take them up quickly. What is the minimum international standard compliance essential during R&D and prototyping phase?
Your device design is to be done. International compliance क्या है? Device file is to be measured, prepared, and now there are two parts that I want to make a device which is prototype बनाएंगे क्या बनाएंगे आपका device ultimately has to perform. So performance and evaluation and performance के जो principles बताए उसके ऊपर जाके देखिए आपको clear हो जाएगा क्या होगा, right? अभी international guidelines के हिसाब से ही बनाए गए हैं. Everything is prepared on that level. So what is the device? What details you have to work on that design, and the design file should be talking of everything. And then design file के specification देख लोगे ना आपको पता चल जाएगा कि exactly what are the headings given in the design development file and then design verification validation file. So that should clarify your query. So schedule 4, schedule 5, you should be studying properly.
Okay. The next question is, what leverage can we get in securing a test license and other future license if we are building within a government grant and incubation framework?
So test licenses can be granted at the address of the incubation center only. Now, if incubation center has given you area to manufacture sort of thing, then आपको वो बाकी के पेपर्स कंप्लायंस नहीं करना पड़ेगा जैसे MIDC का रिलीज चाहिए ये चाहिए वो नहीं करना पड़ेगा. Only one letter from incubation center allotment of this particular thing should be sufficing. So when you are operating from incubation center, only ownership of premises will be uh, relaxed documentation, as otherwise all other documentation will be required.
And the last question from this startup is, how could you help us understand the government grants and other support available specifically for regulatory approvals?
I feel BIRAC has got some schemes.
Yes.
BIRAC has got some schemes. You can connect them with BIRAC and some other. I don't know other places. Or Anil Johri and myself Anil Johri sir and myself were there BIRAC meeting last time. They were discussing this only. People should come up and then projects can be approved by BIRAC, particularly for medical devices, Medtech too.
Okay.
ICMR also has some Medtech Mitra kind of program.
Yeah. And we do have our Medtech domain lead today, Ms. Dr. Deepti Chugh with us. So, Deepti, if you'd like to throw some light for the startups on this.
Yeah, thank you, Vatsala. And thank you, both speakers. I think for an excellent presentation, it was very helpful for our medtech startups. I have one question on behalf of one of our startups who is working on developing a portable X-ray device, and it is a DC operated X-ray device. And the current situation is they applied for BIS and they went for look at the BIS standards. And the current standards as today, they exist for the mains operated devices. So there are no standards for DC operated X-ray devices. And the new standards have to be device, which of course will be a time consuming process. So they instead have gone to a parallel route of getting IEC certification, adhering to the IEC standards for their devices. So, Anil sir, especially when you talked about the X-ray devices and they really need BIS certification. So, what advice would you give for this startup? Because the current standards do not provide provisions for their particular device as of now.
Is this the issue of Chirag's issue?
Yes, that's correct.
I think he has found a solution now. AARB is ready to accept his application.
So according to AARB, they said IEC.
Sorry that this has dragged on for so long, and BIS is my old organization, and if I was in BIS.
So the issue is because the other manufacturers who are also working on the DC operated devices, they have got certification with the old standards that is not even applicable for them, and that's why they are losing, of course, tenders and money, of course, because they cannot get the license.
It's very unfortunate. Chirag's case is very unfortunate. It happens sometimes, very rarely. Two parts.
Yes.
One is nobody should be certified to an old standard.
Yes.
In fact, once I was head of Lucknow, BIS Lucknow office, and I discovered that there are people who were certified to old standard. I had to
Yes.
immediately suspend their licenses. They went to court against me. I said, I can't do anything. The standard does not contain a particular variety. I cannot certify you.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yes.
and then we discovered that several other branch offices of BIS also were having the same problem, that they were certifying a variety which was not in the standard at all. So this kind
Right.
of variation, this kind of variation
Right.
does take place. I mean, I'm sure Mr. Sadhwani is also aware, state to state variation in interpreting the law or enforcing the law. Even some state is more strict, some state is less strict. I am
Right.
aware of this case. He has been frequently
Sure.
with me. I connected him to the
Sure.
highest in BIS, etc. But
Yes.
last I heard from him that, see, it was very simple. If I was in BIS, I would have given a letter that this particular device is not covered under any Indian standard. That's all.
Yes. Yes.
All that
That's
was
all we
needed.
needed. That's all we needed
That's
actually.
all that was needed. I'm so sorry that this should happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
But
this is all that.
your support is
A
very, very important.
second issue
Very.
is that why others have got certified.
Yes.
Nobody should have got certified if this device is not covered. It's very unfortunate situation. I'm sorry for that. All I can say
Sure.
is that it's
Sure.
very
Sure.
unfortunate.
No,
But I was happy to
definitely.
hear. I did connect him to the highest level in BIS,
Yeah.
and I was happy to hear his latest message to me was that ARB is accepted is
ARB
as it
is
is. Yeah,
accepted for now at least. Yes, that's
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
this kind of trouble when arises, please reach out to me with my
sure,
old connection to BIS. I should be able to
sure.
provide some help, if not all. Uh,
Sure.
yeah,
Thank you, sir. My
all I can
second question is, most of the startups are always asking about the clinical validation studies. So let's say they're making any screening device or a diagnostic device, and they have to do there's something called pilot testing, and then there's something called proper clinical validation studies. So the pilot testing, what do you suggest? Before they secure a test license, they should do some pilot testing in a health center or something, or in a lab setting is sufficient for test license, and after they have secured the test license, they should go for the proper clinical validation studies to be done in the government hospitals, or can it be done in the private hospitals as well? So what are your suggestions on validation studies for the devices, medical devices? If you can, either of you can answer.
I think Mr.
Okay, I can.
Sadhwani.
Yes. Basically, please understand that no device should be manufactured without test license. So manufacturing it without test license and using it in validation is not permitted, right? So everything is to be done on the test license. Now, test license, while you acquire test license, you can say that I want to lab study. Using it in a human is a clinical investigation, right? And for clinical investigation, there is a very much clear license, permission, means investigators are defined, where it can be investigated, investigation sites are to be fixed, who can investigate, that sites are fixed, and that for that, big schedule is there, and then that is to be done in accordance with that. But for lab level checking, you only need a test license to do it. And for clinical investigation, you need a test license with approval of the protocol and approval of the center, approval of the investigators, and to be done in that site. So, in using it in a human on the test license will not be permitted if the device requires clinical investigation. Right.
Sure.
Now,
Sure.
there can be one situation that we don't want to do clinical investigation at all. Then if it is in vitro sort of thing, you can use it as a comparator sort of thing on test license. कि भाई मैं A test ऐसा perform कर रही है, ये B में मेरा compare कर रहा हूँ, which is not for drawing the result, which is not for taking the decision. You can do that, but they have to manufacture on test license. But data will not be acceptable to the regulator. Data to be submitted to the regulator has to be done under the proper permission only. That data
Sure.
is only applicable, acceptable.
And that is possible only after the test license is obtained. So
Yes.
first, yeah.
Nothing should be manufactured without test license. See, manufacture कर रहे हैं ना आप, तो कोई बोलेगा आपने what is violation I am talking of. If you manufacture a device without any permission and you use it in human being or somewhere, then it is contravention of section 18C, which is punishable for 5 years. Now, to to justify what you are doing, I am doing only for test and analysis, then it is violation of rule. It is punishable only for 2 years, right? But when you are doing for test and analysis, for sale, 5 years. So if you have a test license, then you can always say, I have a test license. It is not for commercial use. I'm not selling. I'm not distributing. I'm only testing it in a particular environment, and the test protocol has been approved, sort of thing, right? So testing is to be मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर रहे हैं आप, तो उसका पहला टेस्ट लाइसेंस में ही करो, कम क्वांटिटी, which is not to be sold. When it is approved, test license or your studies are over, go for manufacturing license, manufacture and sell the product. So activity is, unlicensed activity is punishable. Therefore, license, you have to do everything in the license itself. Licenses for every activity are provided, prescribed.
Sure. And the validation studies should be done only in the government recognized government hospitals.
Not that.
Not.
You can apply, and they get permission. Investigators, if are so qualified, they are given. This is can be done in research institutions, hospitals, and everywhere.
Okay. After the ethical approval is received from the
every clinical investigation will require ethics committee approval. Right. So the institution where you are conducting, there will be ethics committee that will approve this. You submit the protocol, approval of ethics committee to DCGI, and what forms are prescribed, you can get the permission.
Sure.
I have a question, Mr. Sadhwani. Okay, please go ahead. You finish first, then I'll ask.
No, you please go ahead. I kind of lost my thought, I think.
Okay,
you
I'm
can
so
go
sorry.
ahead, sir. No worries.
Sadhwani ji, there is this term performance evaluation of IVDs. And it says there are some designated labs. So I was recently asked a question, the lab is to be accredited to which standard? And there was a debate between ISO 17025 accreditation or ISO 15189. Now, CDSU simply says NABL accreditation or accreditation.
Yes.
Doesn't specify the standard.
Yes.
Now, the difference between these two labs is ISO 1725 is a testing lab. You take a product to the lab, you get it tested. So medical device testing labs are ISO 1725, no doubt. But when it comes to performance evaluation of IVDs, I need to evaluate an IVD by using it with patient samples. I have to test patient samples if I'm evaluating the performance of an IVD. And patient samples are available in a lab which is accredited to ISO 15189, which is a medical lab.
Yes.
So in a medical lab only, you would have the human samples available and which they can test and then evaluate the performance and give a report. So, to my mind, it looks like that performance evaluation of IVD should be done in ISO 15189 accredited lab.
Depending on whatever test is performed, that is done. But for IVD, they have clearly notified the performance evaluation labs, and which National Institute of Biologicals, and this list is there around 12-13 labs. Every test is they are to be done there to start with.
Yeah, but it also mentions NABL accredited labs. That's where the confusion is coming. It says government labs, ICMR approved labs, etc., and then says government NABL accredited. Now it doesn't say which accreditation.
Okay.
To my mind, it
Yes,
should be 15189 because you need human samples, patient samples, and those are available in 15189. Test lab will not have 15189. One will not have samples.
One is pathology lab, one is a chemical testing or instrumental testing lab. Sort of.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So while medical device testing labs need 1725, no doubt about that. To my mind, performance evaluation should need 15189.
I agree. I hope in future clarification should come in.
हाँ, so I think अगर आप अपने influence use करें तो इसको जरा clarification.
नहीं सर, ऐसा flag करना बहुत जरूरी है ऐसे issues.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, please go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, my follow-up question is about the testing lab. Let's say for EMI, EMC testing lab, right? There are some, according to IEC compliance standards, there are some tests need to be done. And there are, in our IIT Kanpur facility, we have the facility, but not all the tests can be done in the same facility. Some tests have to be done in another lab. So how the report has to be generated, right? That report has to be submitted to the regulatory authority. So either we should get test result reports from IIT Kanpur facility and the additional test reports from the third party or whatever additional lab, and then submit both the documents to the regulatory agency. That should be fine, right?
That is
Yes.
fine. That is fine. Normally,
See, the
even
provision-
drug we used to do that. If your facility for suppose sterilization facility is not there, sterility testing facility, or for the time being it is down, then you have to get the test done from the accredited lab, and then that report comes to you. A person who is taking decision on total report, he has to certify that this, and this totally complies, and final report to be prepared by the final authority.
Yeah,
So
this is where my question
can-
is. So, right. So let's say the report is coming from IIT Kanpur facility, but because they are saying that these tests are not done in our facility, they are done somewhere else. So they are not able to include that in the summary. So you can attach
No,
the
no.
reports.
You
That's
can attach, refer, and clearly say that such and such test was done at such and such place. Report is attached herewith, and on the basis of that report, my conclusion is IIT Kanpur is concluding that is correct. So final
okay.
decision is on the complete report, no?
Right.
As a,
So
as a laboratory, you can outsource some of the tests. That is possible. So
okay,
essentially,
but
what you are doing, out of 10 tests, you are able to do 8, and 2 you are not able to do. You outsource that to another lab. You incorporate those results into your report. You clearly declare that these 2 tests have been done in an outsourced lab, and outsourced lab should also be accredited and the 1725
yes,
compliant. That you have to make
right,
sure. Then
right.
and then you can take see when the cardinal principle of any outsourcing is that the responsibility remains with you.
Okay,
For
okay.
final
That's my
results,
question, huh?
responsibility always remains with the entity which has done outsourcing. It's your job to make sure outsourcing exercise controls, make sure you are doing outsourcing to the right person. So the right person in this case is an accredited lab, which gives
Right.
you confidence that I am going to a lab which is competent to do this test. But ultimate responsibility is yours. So you can take responsibility by reproducing those results, attaching that report, reproducing those results, mentioning that this has been tested in another lab, XYZ, whatever way. As long as
Yeah,
it factually truth, that's fine.
right. Okay, so yeah, that we can factually state that these results have been done in this accredited lab,
Yes.
and reports are attached herewith. Okay, yeah, sure.
Even government samples, particularly in government test labs, some facilities are not there or some instrument is down. They go to the private lab and get it done.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
It is done on supervision of the government analyst, and then they come and reproduce the result. Keep added it there. That can be done. So what they have done is authority has been given to the person certified.
okay.
Right. The certification authority जो ना जो last sign कर रहा है, उसको
हाँ,
authority है, वो responsibility. So if he is
हाँ,
taking
बट वो
responsibility, then
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी में ही इशू आ जाता है कि वो बोलते हैं कि आप थर्ड पार्टी से करवा रहे हैं, 2 टेस्ट स्टार्टअप जाके दूसरी जगह से करवाएगा, तो उसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी वो ले नहीं पाते हैं। कहते हैं कि वहां पे किस तरह से टेस्ट किया गया, हाउ
ऐसा
कैन
नहीं
वी
आप
से
लिख दो,
दैट।
आप लिख
हाँ
दो कि बराबर है ये नहीं है।
हाँ
अभी
हाँ,
आपको
वही।
आएगा गवर्नमेंट में ऐसा होता है मेरे का नहीं मालूम, मैं नहीं
हाँ,
करूंगा,
थोड़ा
मैंने नहीं
कॉशियस हो जाते हैं वो
किया।
कि हम कैसे लिखें कि उन्होंने कैसा किया है।
सेकंडली क्या होता है कभी कभी आई मे नॉट हैव एक्सपर्टाइज, आई मे नॉट बी कॉम्पिटेंट टू इंटरप्रेट दैट, देन देयर इज कि मुझे पास आपने एक रिपोर्ट लाके दिया, आई एम अनएबल टू इंटरप्रेट दैट,
हाँ
देन इट इज
यार,
बट इफ आई एम अथॉरिटी आई एम साइनिंग, आई हैव टू राइट। और क्लियरली
ओके,
अगर कहा सबमिट कर रहे हो ना, जो सर ने बोला ना, क्लियरली लिख दो ये इधर इधर किया गया,
किया गया है,
ऐसा
ठीक
ऐसा
है।
हुआ, ये रिपोर्ट है, उसका रिपोर्ट है। और पर
श्योर श्योर
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आपको लेना पड़ेगा, आप बोले रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेगा तो फिर भेजा क्यों वहां, ऐसा।
श्योर Okay. Another question is, if a device has a predicate device available, then validation studies are not necessary, or what is your advice on that? Like, shall we still do the clinical testing?
Clinical investigation is not mandatory if it is already a established device, and if it is already manufactured in India, नहीं होगा जरूर। अगर इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं तो उसमें 4-5 कंट्रीज लिखी है, यूके, नाउ दे हैव गिवन यूरोपियन कंट्रीज आल्सो, यूएस, जापान, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, एंड वन और मोर कंट्रीज। सो जीएसटीएफ कंट्रीज होगा कुछ, तो वो अगर है तो वहाँ क्लिनिकल इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुआ है तो यहाँ फिर रिपीट करने की जरूरत नहीं।
जरूर। Okay. Sure. Yeah, thank you so much.
Shakti, please stay here as a panelist only. Now we have 3 more startups. We'll take up your questions quickly. Diksha, please go ahead.
First of all,
Tanfish, please wait. We'll take up one by one.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Vatsala, and thank you, Dr. Deepti, for your questions and letting me in. And thank you, Anilji and Sadhwaniji. I run a startup where we have developed a cloud-based platform for genetic diagnostics and reporting. So we take in raw genetic data and provide the final interpretations and analysis. And there are 4 intended use of that platform. For one of the use, which is in oncology segment, there is a predicate available. For the rest 3 cases, there is no predicate available. However, there are companies in US and other countries where they have taken CE or FDA markings, or these accreditations are available for such devices available across the globe. So my question, because I think some of them has also been answered during Dr. Deepti's session, that the question was saying that what should I be focusing on while doing the getting the CDSCO? Because my question is also like Dr. Deepti, that should we be going for some detailed validations for the rest 3 products where we don't have a predicate as a part of CDSCO? And since we have a predicate available for one intended use, what I have understood is that, so for all 4 of them, we have to get 4 different licenses. For the first question will this be that for all different 4 modules, we need 4 licenses, though it's a part of one product. And if we need 4 licenses, you can also suggest me what is good and bad there. If we need 4 licenses for one which has predicate, what detailed kind of validation we need there, and for the rest 3 for which the predicates is not available, what do we need to go there? Because right now we are at this stage that we just want to fill the test license form, and we are just trying to get this clarity in our heads and proceed.
It is software as a medical device.
Yes.
Software as a medical device. Now, for one, you have got predicate, and interpretation is very clear, and that can be done. So you can just go and apply for test license, generate data, and apply for the license for that device. Now, when you are saying that it's part of one software having 4 functions, or 4 different softwares?
It's one cloud platform with 4 different use cases. So it can be
these are 4 products.
you can call it 4 products. Let's call it 4 products.
ऐसा नहीं ना, मेरा एक बार ब्लड लोगे और आप चारों रिजल्ट एक साथ दे दोगे कि 4 टेस्ट करोगे? क्या भी करने वाले हो?
हाँ, मतलब हमारे चारों के अलग-अलग पेशेंट्स होंगे.
Okay, so these are 4 different products.
हाँ, सेम हो भी सकता है पर मोस्टली अलग होगा.
So it comes from intended use sort of thing. Exact intended use you have to define, and on the basis of intended use you have to define a product. And it's always, there are 2 issues. Family or group of products has been defined in this. We can get it certified as a family or whatever, but if the things are very different, then it can be a different product. So software as a medical device, you get 4 different licenses. That is always better. And so that even if you take one license and if you want to market it as a separate product, then you will have to go for a separate license. एक इसमें 4 मार्क मिल गए और आप बोल रहे एक सिंगल का मैं अलग से, Sadhwan is expert on such and such, this is only, you will get only one. So if you are, then you will have to have another license for that. So 4 differently separately licensed products will be a better idea. One. And now when you say that there is a predicate in US,
the predicate in India for one product.
ठीक है, तो वो issue खत्म हो गया. It is certified thing. Only you have to say that it's performing same way. If there is a predicate in US also, and it has been certified, then you can show that the data which has been validated there, उसका जितना भी published reports वगैरह है उसके साथ में, how you say that your product is similar to that predicate.
ठीक है.
You are absolutely new if nobody has approved. Now, if US has approved, you have got predicate.
ठीक है. Even CE marking is there.
CE marking है तो validated हो गया, right? US FDA CE marking है, validated हो गया, तो आप उसमें clinical data की बात करो ही मत. You go straight for application on the basis of the comparison that how you are similar to the predicate.
ठीक है.
Right. And now if they have got some questions as per that data and we are unable to answer, or if there will be some issue in Indian population, separately issue in Indian population, then we'll have to, they may come up with that, because you are talking of this in this indication. This indication in Indian population and US population is a different interpretation. Results are different, readings are different. You will have to validate. So if they come up with that, then only we'll look for the clinical investigations.
So the initial strategy should be that first we should go for those comparative analysis, and we should show this comparison, and then we can go for, because it is a genetic software, so there's a possibility that that question will come.
That will come. That will come.
Because
Anyway,
genetic heterogeneity is there, so I think for your case,
Ah.
Diksha, you would
Right.
need
Some
validation.
validation.
and particularly what you are interpreting, that is important. And that data and how that US data and our data, or if there are studies that US and our genetics is similar for those type of things, earlier studies for various drugs might have happened. So your literature search has to be very strong and robust.
But you are saying
Well-
that comparison studies still should be done even if predicate is there.
At least you will have to say that my product is comparable to this product.
Comparable to this product.
So
Got
how you are similar to predicate, minimum difference with predicate, you have to come.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
The
Thank you, sir.
patient population is also very important here, and if
Hmm.
that is making difference, then you will have to go for clinical studies.
Then patient population has to be an Indian population. There, all the population will be Caucasian population.
Right, but then what thing you are talking of, and that what is data available in that, and how you can substantiate that this is similar with US, that is important. Your focus should be on that.
And sir, if we go for a test license for only one product, for at least for now, because that is the high priority product, and we want to, for the one which the predicate is available, and if we apply for test license, is there any possibility that there might be some requirement, if there's a change in some product and after applying for test license, can we include minor changes?
Test for product, for test and analysis, you can always, it is for development of the product. So while developing a product, whatever is being done, you will have to study and say that this, we have tested this, and now you have carried out these changes. Now with those changes, you have to apply for the final license.
Okay, so that can
test license gives you one liberty to experiment.
So there can be some
Okay.
difference between what you applied for test and what you applied for manufacturing.
Yes. But
Okay.
then
And also,
the data generated from the test license should show that why I have made this change.
sure. And what about the manufacturing side? Like test license has been manufactured in certain facility, a certified facility. So manufacturing also has to be done in that facility, or no, it can be done in
No.
Another facility.
Another.
Okay.
Because the test license is always at the lab scale.
Small,
and manufacturing
small
is
scale.
Commercial scale. So
Commercial scale.
only upgradation means upscaling, you will have to prove that it is a similar way it is happening. So product has to be this.
Okay, and
Sometimes
another
if stability is the issue, then it is to be done. Stability testing is to be done on the original site
in the
manufacturing.
in the original side. Okay. There's an example of like a class B medical device, like a gel or a spray for the wound patients. So that has to be tested in the patients for the clinical validation. So my question is, those gel or spray formulations, what do you suggest that they should be prepared in a GMP certified facility or a clean room facility before they can be tested in humans? Because right now, some people, they prepare in the lab facility only and then they test it. So what are your recommendations?
It is very simple. If any product is to be applied on the human, it is to be manufactured in the certified facility.
Okay.
Which is for that particular product. Right. Tomorrow you are manufacturing injection, giving it to a patient, only volunteer, and it is failing in some major issues. So that will be a problem. So all the products. So whenever you talk of manufacture for clinical investigation, giving it to the patient, then this will be asked that way, in which facility will be manufactured.
Okay, so when we apply for the manufacturing license, this will be asked like where you prepared the
manufacture for test and analysis, manufacture for clinical investigation.
For clinical investigation. Okay.
Sure. Clinical investigation will be a license in Form 16.
Oh, that is a separate license. Okay.
Clinical investigation, test or evaluation or demonstration.
Okay, that's a different form that we have to fill when we have to do the clinical investigation. Okay.
Different permission means when you say that I will be manufacturing or importing for giving it to the patient, then that clause will be definitely checked that it is done in a very GMP facility or not.
GMP facility. Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Tripti. Yes, Team Tanfish, please unmute and switch on your camera if possible.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is to both of you, Sir Om as well, Dr. Anil sir. Sir, as we are developing a SAMD, that is for the early detection of cervical cancer, and we have a predicate, but that predicate is not just the way we are. So every predicate has a, I can say, a camera or a device that is attached to take the images. That is not a part of a mobile phone. But we as a device, what we have manufactured, this is purely a SAMD where we don't need any physical attachment. So for imaging and for everything else, so there is no touch to the patient. So we don't need the, I think, sterilization.
अभी आप अपना वीडियो ऑफ कर दीजिए. Your voice is breaking.
Yeah, so we are looking for
Abhay, please switch off your video and repeat your question.
वीडियो कर दिया वीडियो.
हाँ, अभी बताइए. You after what was your question exactly?
Am I? हाँ. So we are an SAMD and we are filing for IEC 62304 and IEC 82304. And we are in the process of that. So we just need the guidance for, since we have developed our QMS, like, so we have been talked with the Chirag as well. And we have developed our QMS like the 13485 that is mentioned. So is it really necessary to go for 13485 and 14155 before going for 62304?
I said, if you want to go for manufacturing license in India,
Yes, sir.
you have to have software as a medical device license, right? So that will, you'll have to comply with that, but certification is not necessary. All these things, certification for these all ISOs are not necessary, but you will have to comply with that sort of thing. But certification, Anil Jawhari sir has already said that all these are very voluntary and these are not mandatory. But anybody who is reviewing your application will definitely ask that you are complying with this or not. Not certified, but complying with it. And as you said, it is it is software as a medical device. So sterility issue is not there at all. Software ko sterility ka
Yes.
issue.
Yes, sir. There's one more thing. So there is no such standards in the BIS as well. So even the 62304 and 82304, they don't comply with the medical imaging that is to be taken from the mobile phone itself. So all the imaging part in the medical science is only for the imaging done by a CT or a radiology images, I can say. So there is no such guidelines in the Indian standards that is for the images taken from phone. That is to be used as a medical data. So what is right in that?
Right. But then internationally, globally, how it is done? An image taken from a mobile, is it, now you'll have to prove that image taken from a mobile is as good as image taken from whatever has been approved, and then comparative studies for that, or some data is available for that or not, you'll have to look into that. I don't know, I'll not be expert on this, but then you can submit your test license application. There you will have n number of queries, and from there you can sort out it out.
So we have got our test license, sir. We already
जिन्हें
got
क्या
it.
तो डाटा सबमिट कर दो. एक दूसरा काम कर सकते हैं आप, just to have advice, see
Yes, sir.
that you CDSCO has got a public relation office, and there every week, one day is allotted to every डिपार्टमेंट. मेडिकल डिवाइस वाले जब भी पीआरओ बैठते हैं ना, उस दिन जाके आप उसको एक बार मिल लो, सामने से बात कर. They have been approving various softwares, and practically I feel that 300 to 400 softwares are approved by them. तो वो लिस्ट में देख लो, ऐसा आपके जैसा सॉफ्टवेयर कोई अप्रूव हो गया है क्या? नहीं हुआ है तो एक बार जाके मिल के आ जाओ. गेट फर्स्ट हैंड इन्फॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम देम हाउ दे.
हमारी सुचित्रा मैम से सर इस बारे में बात हुई थी. सुचित्रा मार्कन, उनसे हम मिले भी थे सर. शी इज
ये तो ICM
शी इज
वाले
द
हैं।
साइंस.
हाँ,
हाँ, शी इज हेडिंग पेटेंट मित्रा और मेडटेक मित्रा.
मेडटेक
तो
मित्र, हाँ।
हाँ, सो उनसे हमारी बात हुई थी. उन्होंने हमें एक मैम का नंबर भी दिया था जस्ट टू टॉक, क्योंकि आईसीएमआर के अकॉर्डिंग हम क्लास सी मेडिकल डिवाइस हैं, बट हमारे अकॉर्डिंग हम क्लास बी मेडिकल डिवाइस हैं. तो फिर हमने उनसे मीट किया था, पर उससे हमारा टेस्ट लाइसेंस क्लास बी में ही हमें मिल गया है. तो व्हाट वी हैव अ प्रॉब्लम कि आईसीएमआर किस हिसाब से इसको बोल रहा है. वो बोल आपका प्रेडिकेट नहीं, हमने उनको प्रेडिकेट दिखा भी दिया. सो हमने उनके साथ मीटिंग कर चुके हैं, 2 बार ऑनलाइन मीटिंग कर चुके हैं, एक बार अभी ऑफलाइन मीटिंग के लिए भी हम लोग जा रहे हैं. दिस
एक
इज
बार
द इशू.
CDSCO से बात कर लो जरा, थोड़ा बेटर।
ओके सर,
CDSCO में है ना,
ठीक है सर.
साहू साहू, जैसे साहू इज डिप्यूटी कंट्रोलर, या उसका जो भी डिप्यूटी बैठता होगा उधर, क्योंकि वो दिन भर ये काम कर
ओके
रहे हैं, 300-400 अप्रूव कर दिए, तो दे विल गाइड यू, बिकॉज अब अपन नई चीज बात कर रहे हैं जो है नहीं सिस्टम, एंड समथिंग विच इज नॉट देयर, दे लुक इट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, बट दे आर कोऑपरेटिव दैट।
ओके सर.
पीआरओ जब मेडिकल डिवाइस वाले का दिन है, वो दिन चले जाओ, तो CDSCO पर नोटिफाइड है कि
नहीं
पीआरओ
नहीं, उन्होंने
मेडिकल।
सर सीडीएससीओ में जो आईवीडी हेड है उनसे हमें मिलवाया था, पर हमने उन्हें बताया हम मेडिकल डिवाइस के अंडर में. तो उन्होंने बोला
मेडिकल
था कि जब
डिवाइस,
वो एमडी वाला दिन होगा तो वो आप हमें कॉल करें. हाँ,
हाँ, उस
उस
दिन
दिन
चले
आईवीडी का दिन था.
जाओ। हाँ,
ठीक है सर.
Okay, thank you, Abhay. Anil sir, may I request you to please switch on your camera? That we have led this discussion for 1 hour 45 minutes now. I'll open this session between Om sir, Anil sir, and Dr. Deepthi. And I would like to have some expert comments from all three of you about the startups and the daily problems that they are facing in this sector of standards and regulations, how worried they should be, and like how quick could be the solutions for them.
Well, the regulations are regulations. They are compulsory. We ought to know our regulations. We ought to comply with them. And they have been done in public interest. We should recognize at the end of the day, all regulations are in public interest. They are for the safety or health of people. So we should start with the positive mindset that I have to meet certain standards which are prescribed under regulations, and design accordingly. One of the problems that I have faced, and one of the very instructive stories I had, was my interaction with IIT Kanpur, where I studied my master's way back. Passed out in 1981. Until 2020, for 39 years, I had no connect with IIT Kanpur until I ran into Professor Amitabh in a meeting, quality subcommittee set up by principal scientific advisor in 2020 during COVID, and where in a meeting he realized that I have some knowledge of standards, not all knowledge of standards, some knowledge of standards. That's why I need Mr. Sadhwani. And he asked me that we have a ventilator manufacturer, and we have incubated a ventilator, and we are unable to understand what standards and what regulations, whose approval is needed. So I just gave him 1 minute, not even 1 minute advice. I simply told him, as of today, there's no regulation. Regulation has been notified, but it's in a phased manner. Ventilator will get covered by October of 2023. So today you can sell your ventilator without any regulatory approval, number one. Number two, as far as standards are concerned, I know there are ISO standards. We has adopted them. So there are standards available for ventilators. Number three, you might face a challenge that if ventilators are not manufactured in India, you may not find a lab. I mean, we discovered during COVID for N95 masks, we did not have a lab. For PPEs, we did not have a lab. Why? Because we were importing everything, and therefore there is no need for a lab here. So, I mean, for that half a minute of advice that I gave, which cleared up for them, I figured in their book called Ventilator Story. I have my minute of fame, you can say. But the point which worried me was why I'm being asked this question after developing the product. This question should be asked right in the beginning. I'm consistently saying that before you start funding a startup, please ask him this question. Is your product that you are developing is it in a regulated sector? Yes or no? First question that should be asked. And Medtech is regulated now, we know. Now it's fully regulated. So first question to be asked is it in a regulated sector? You should be aware. If it is yes, what are the standards which apply to your product? You should be aware of that. Because as far as I am concerned, the design of the product, you build standard into the design of the product itself. You can't create a product, then worry about the standard, then discover that it doesn't meet the standard. Now you have to modify. That's just not done. So right in the beginning, you should know. If I'm talking, we are only talking about medtech here. So I would say, first thing you should know that you are in a regulated sector, and therefore there are standards prescribed. You have to look at those standards, which is, as Mr. Sadhwani said, BIS, followed by ISO-IC, failing which ISO-IC and ASTM, I think. It was added later on. Failing which manufacturers validated standard. Hopefully, you will not come to that. Well, showing you have validated standard itself become another problem for you. Hopefully, you are developing a product where there is a BIS standard or there is an ISO-IC standard. So my advice to startups is, the moment they touch medtech, they should know there are regulations, they should know which standard applies to them, and they should design their product accordingly. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, sir. Dr. Deepthi, do you have anything to say to startups?
I think
Your
sir has
everyday
covered.
struggles with them.
Yeah, I think sir has covered the most important thing. Like we should, yeah, look at the standards and consider the standards from the day one onwards, from the design onwards, because it's very difficult to go back and, rework on your design, on your prototype once you know that. I mean, I have seen that many startups even do not know the proper classification of their medical device. They think that they are class A, class B, and then it turns out no, they actually fall under class C. So I think very basic awareness about what a medical device is, what a drug is, what a food supplement is, what a wellness device is. This is very,
Yes.
very important in the beginning itself. Then only you can find the right standards for your device and design it accordingly and then meet the regulatory requirements. I think this is very important, and we need, of course, guidance from you, experts like you, to for us to know the right classification, right standards, etc. Yeah, that's my advice as
Thank
well.
you. I am sorry, Dr. Sunita, I missed you. You were there. So we'll quickly take up your question. 5 minutes for you.
No worries, ma'am. I know it's been a long time. So I just quickly discuss my queries. I like the idea, like sir mentioned, like don't boast your device to be the first one, right? Because in order to simplify your regulatory thing. But so in our case, for example, we are developing a device for the speech impaired individual. So like in US or like some other countries, UK, people have worked on this device and some research papers are also available, but no such device available in the market as of now. So how can we say like whether our device is a predicate or like those devices are predicate to our device or not? How can we say that?
So if the device,
And my
tell me.
yeah, so that's on the research paper on the research level only, not commercial level. And my another question is like, for example, we can also use our device in the medical sector. Also, we like use as a consumer device, like a general public or for other purposes. So should we also follow all these regulatory standards in the rules for in that case as well?
See, definition of medical device is very clear. If it is for the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, or of disease or disorder. So speech is a disorder. Speech is not there, or what intended use. So you'll have to design your intended use properly. Now you have to how you'll be marketing. If you're marketing through speech therapists or through some, then it is for treatment practically, right? Correction, disorder correction. So it will fall under definition of drug. But if it is a wellness sort of device, then it may be exempted sort of thing, right? As far as you are saying that there is no predicate, research predicate is there. So you will have to submit your study reports. So what is, if I am first in the world, then I have a pathway. I have a pathway that it is to be validated in the clinical environment that it is performing, and its performance is to be evaluated. So that pathway is there. If nobody has done it, we can do it. We can be first one to do it. No problem.
Okay, so even in that case, we should consider our device to be the first one.
नहीं,
If
अगर आपके पास में commercially nobody has approved to date, then you are the first one. Right. Commercially nobody is approved. It is not approved for this intended purpose of medical purpose. Then you are the first one. Now, because research papers are there, everything is there. You can substantiate that, put in that data to show that studies required may not be that big. The data available from the studies done under the research,
we can use that.
published under PubMed or anywhere, we can always substantiate that this will require only some similar, simple verification that it is performing the way it is expected. दो चीजें देखिए, सेफ्टी क्या है? सेफ्टी है मेडिकल डिवाइसेस सेफ और नॉट, इफेक्टिव है कि नहीं, जो इंटेंडेड पर्पस है वो हो रहा है कि नहीं, और इट इज नॉट हैविंग एनी एडवर्स इफेक्ट. अब आप बोलोगे कि अभी इसमें कुछ बैटरी है, ये है, वो है, कल वो ब्रस्ट हो गई, कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया, रिस्क एनालिसिस होना चाहिए, तो ये सब चीजें आनी चाहिए उसके अंदर. तो रिस्क, one is its performance, another is risk. So everything is to be considered that in an environment where literate, illiterate population will be using it, will it be safe to use this device? Even देखिए आप प्लेन में हमको बोल रहे हैं कि बैटरी मत लेके जाओ. डिवाइस इज गुड, प्लेन में बैटरी मत लेके, इट कैन ब्लास्ट. सो है इशू छोटा सा, इतनी छोटी सी चीज हमको रोका जा रहा है, राइट? सो देयर इज इशू, there can be some big risk involved if not studied properly. So therefore you have to look it from all the angles, prove that my device is safe, effective and performing as expected, will not have any adverse effect or accident, will be out of the risk, then probably they will be allowed. So ये सब हमको देना पड़ेगा, वो देने के लिए जो भी कुछ जरूरी है वो करना पड़ेगा.
Got it. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, so we have just 3 minutes left. The webinar will end. So I would thank both our expert speakers today, and with Dr. Deepthi, we will set up a call with them to understand how further we can help our startups with both of you. So thank you so much for your time.
I would love to come to IIT Kanpur and interact with your people.
Certainly, sir. Certainly, sir. We will arrange this.
करो.
We regularly organize workshops in the domain, so we will definitely call you, sir, for your guidance.
Love to come, and I'm proud to be associated with Anil sir, and as and when required, I am available.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
मेरे लिए compensation वगैरह का कुछ विचार नहीं करना. Only use my services to see that our knowledge is helpful to the country. Country ने हमको बहुत बड़ा बनाया है, regulations और हमारे post ने हमको बहुत बड़ा बनाया है. Let us be contributing to the profession.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much everyone, to all the participants who have joined us, shared your questions. Please keep doing this so that we can help you better. Thank you so much. Ending the webinar now. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Have a good day, everyone.